Everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast. Got another Amazon screener review for you. It's a spoiler-free review of their new series, Citadel. Citadel follows a spy agency called Citadel as they're taken down by their opposing agency, a crime syndicate, Manticore. The agents' minds are wiped, and they have to recollect their past to make things right, apparently. This is executive produced by the Russo brothers, which was cool. Richard Madden and Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Stanley Tucci all star. So good cast, good pedigree behind the camera. I was kind of excited for it, even though the plot line seemed a little generic. I mean, it sounds like Get Smart from the 60s. International spy agency, not connected to any government, is taken down by their criminal counterpart. We've kind of seen that before, but it can be done right. Like the Kingsman came out of nowhere and was awesome with kind of a similar premise. Unfortunately, this is kind of the hottest show on NBC 15 years ago. The writing is a little goofy. I mean, Stanley Tucci is really trying to make his one-liners work. He's got this pithy sarcasm about him, and some of it lands, but a lot of it doesn't. Richard Madden, if the name's not familiar, Rob Stark, the King of the North. He was also in 1917. He's a great actor in his own right. He's just kind of flat in this. And they also make him use an American accent, which I thought was really strange given that they're making a big deal that it's a global spy agency. If it's a global spy agency, then why are the three primary characters all American? Didn't make much sense to me. And I mean, maybe that doesn't take away from the show exactly. Priyanka Chopra Jonas, gorgeous, of course. She was funny in some stuff. She did drama in some stuff. The show Quantico she had, which I believe was on NBC, believe it or not, was not terrible for a network TV show. I think the biggest problem with Citadel is that we've moved on from that model. That kind of safe humor, safe action, not really testing any boundaries, not pushing any envelopes. We've just seen too much to go back to that. It's predictable every step of the way. Citadel is kind of starting at the second season. At least get midway through the season before you throw the whole thing away so we can learn what it's all about without just exposition dumps from Stanley Tucci. I mean, he just brings in Richard Madden at a point and is just explaining to the audience. Richard Madden was probably looking around like, who are you talking to? Nobody's here. But he was talking to us because that's just the exposition they had to dump to get the show right. The action scenes are kind of more the same. The whole thing is just very lukewarm and forgettable. In the any given action scene, there might be one or two moments that you say, "Yeah, okay, that was fine." But it's kind of like the early first Jason Bourne movie where it's just a million smash cuts and you can kind of piece together what's going on, but none of it's really overly impressive. It's shot well. It's a good looking show. The picture quality is great. They do a weird thing with like kind of color filters where based on what's going on, things are a little warmer, a little colder, a little more blue. Visually, it's fine. It's just fine. This is going to be a short review because that's really all I can say about it. I watched the first three episodes. I was actually kind of excited to get into it, given the talent in front of the camera being executive produced by the Russo brothers. I mean, I think they do great work, but executive produced means so many things. Is like, did that literally mean they got a check for putting their names on it, or were they hands on making sure it was great quality? It's not really great quality, so I hope that's not the answer to that question. It's also not bad quality, and it's almost more offensive that way. It doesn't really do one thing or another. I think if it took some more chances and sucked, I'd be able to appreciate it more than it playing it as safe as can possibly be and being so unmemorable. I'm having a hard time. I watched it an hour ago. I'm having a hard time coming up with things to talk about on this. So, unfortunately, Citadel is a pass from me. I mean, this is a very short review at this point, but it's just tough to come up with a recommendation for it. No actor is doing a horrible job. The direction is fine. The fight choreography is competent. If you went back in time before the age of streaming when 24 was kind of on the downslide, like when it went on a little bit too long and they were getting a little bit ridiculous and really stretching what you can do in an hour kind of thing, and this came out, it would have been a fine contender. It would have been cool with like Person of Interest as a double feature on Thursday nights. It's that level of show. And I guess that is fine for some people. There is maybe an older audience who still is married to network TV and really likes that kind of thing. I don't really know who this is for other than people who still have cable. Unfortunately, it's on Amazon Prime, so those people are probably not going to watch it. I don't see this getting a second season. I don't see myself finishing. I don't think I'm going to go beyond the 3 episodes I watched. There was no cliffhanger that made me want to hang on. There was no story beat I didn't already see coming, so I could probably write a treatment for how the rest of the season's going to go and be pretty spot on. It doesn't seem like in the first 3 hours of the show they did nothing original. All of a sudden, episode 7, they're going to blow your mind. And if they do, too little, too late. Unfortunately, that's all I really have to say about Citadel. Citadel comes out Friday, April 28th on Amazon Prime. I believe it's going to be a week to week drop. I'm not really sure. Maybe they'll do the first 3 to try to get you hooked and then go week to week from there. Unfortunately, those first 3 are not going to get you hooked. I'm sorry, Amazon. I appreciate you sending the screeners, but that's just my honest opinion. This is a forgettable microwave dinner of a show. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We got a lot more screener coverage, comic reviews, interviews. We got con coverage coming up. Con season's coming, so you're not going to want to miss out on any of that. Like, subscribe, bell, do all the things. Make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week, wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts can be found after the show and in the show notes. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. It's called Social Studies. Follows a group of friends through high school, all the ups and downs, all the ridiculousness, while they figure out what's going on. We write it like a sitcom and do it in the vein of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, love, and inspired us. Bunch of issues already out, bunch more coming. Find it all at socialstudiescomic.com on Comixology and Global Comics. Thanks.